In Venezuela, President Nicolás Maduro showed his respect for the decision of former right-wing candidate Edmundo Gonzalez to leave the country and called on the opposition to engage in dialogue. In Palestine, at least 40 Palestinians have been killed and 60 others wounded in an Israeli airstrike in a designated safe zone camp in Han Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip. The Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, is seeking to establish an age limit for the use of social media in the country. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. On Monday evening, the President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, showed his respect for the decision of former far-right candidate Edmundo Gonzalez of the party in Venezuela. Likewise, the head of state reaffirmed his call to dialogue with multiple opposition sectors in the country. On the transmission of his program Con Maduro Más, the Venezuelan leader condemned the actions of the local far-right wing, pointing out that from the onset they did not play fair as they didn't respect the constitutional laws of the country. In this regard, the Venezuelan president assured that unlike the far-right wing, the revolution has always played fair in the search for consolidating peace, and it has won. Therefore, the country applauds the departure of former presidential candidate Edmundo González Urrutia. Furthermore, the president asserted that Venezuela is bigger than any person who intends to hand over the country to imperialism. And after being the subject of an arrest warrant for failing to comply with the summons of the Citizens' Power, the former presidential candidate of the far-right wing of Venezuela, Edmundo González, left the country for Spain. With the details, our special envoy in Caracas, Nacho Lemus.
Edmundo
Gonzalez left Venezuela through the Spanish embassy in Caracas. He left without giving answers in the case that investigates the link between the disregard of the electoral results and the fascist actions that killed 25 people after the elections of last July 28.
Tras los comicios del pasado 28 de julio.
The guy left first because he knows he did not win. That is the main reason. He knows he did not win. Second, he knows that those people who were surrounding him were going to harm him, and he says that it is for the tranquility of the country. Here in this country there will be tranquility. Here the most fascist sector of the right-wing state. If that has gradations, the most fascist is still here, and then the Constitution and the law will intervene.
After 3 unfulfilled summonses, the public ministry had issued an arrest warrant against González Urrutia. The agency had knowledge of the asylum since the day the former candidate arrived at the Spanish embassy.
The governments of Spain and Venezuela agreed to grant safe conduct to the citizen Edmundo González Urrutia to leave the national territory and avail himself of the asylum granted by Spain.
Before going to the Spanish embassy, the former presidential candidate of the extreme right took refuge in the embassy of the Netherlands, which did not inform the Venezuelan authorities about the situation. It was one day after the presidential elections, when the country was suffering a wave of violence.
That is to say, his plan was never an electoral issue. What did Mr. González Urrutia know about what would happen in Venezuela that he wanted to take refuge? That was the same day that the comanditos of terror were causing disasters and violence all over the country. That is, while the comanditos of terror were burning police modules, attacking schools, attacking hospitals, Mr. González Urrutia was taking refuge in the embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands.
Edmundo González faces 6 charges, including the publication and maintenance of a web page with a parallel count of electoral tally sheets with fraudulent data, usurpation of functions, forgery of public document, instigation to disobey laws, computer crimes, association to commit a crime, and conspiracy. He left without answering for any of them. In Venezuela, for many it was a plausible scenario.
En Venezuela para muchos era un escenario previsible.
It was a bad candidacy. He knows it was bad and he knows he lost. Nothing. Let's hope he doesn't come anymore. Venezuelans will be calmer. The country will move forward step by step, and we have to support our President Nicolas Maduro.
Until the day before Urrutia's departure from Venezuela, his lawyer was telling the media to insist that the former candidate would not leave the country.
Edmundo Gonzalez Urrutia has in no way applied for asylum.
Spanish media assure that when Vice President Delcy Rodriguez informed the departure of Gonzalez Urrutia, some of the former candidate's closest collaborators were not aware of his departure. The speculations opened the door to a probable rift between the sectors of the ultra-right, without discarding the implementation of a new plan of self-proclamation from abroad.
This is clear to the Venezuelan government, and it is also clear to the entire Venezuelan society, which once again sees how the Venezuelan opposition repeats its acts of violation, does not show its face and hides. They try to lead the country into delicate situations and within international law. Above all, they bet on the intervention of other countries.
In a letter published this Monday from Spain, Urrutia tries with his departure to dissociate himself from the conflicts in Venezuela that his own allies encourage against the country.
Ignacio Lemus y Jesús Romero para Telesur desde Caracas.
And in Colombia, No es hora de callar, translated as It's not time to be silent, is a campaign that began in 2010 with the objective of making violence against women journalists visible and that allowed the creation of law on the issues. Our colleague Valeria Cardona gives us the details.
The launching of the fund No es hora de callar, a law for women journalists, took place this Monday at the Colombian Congress of the Republic.
This fund is a law that makes it possible to collect resources to finance policies for the prevention and protection of women journalists. But this fund is also linked to other mechanisms that are part of the reparation of this painful and distressing case that Gineth Bedoya suffered because she was assaulted, raped, violated, and tortured 24 years ago while performing her work. The most painful thing is that the state did not protect her rights, and she had to make a huge struggle to reach international instances.
No es hora de callar began in 2010 as a campaign by journalist Gineth Bedoya Lima. Her case had to reach the Inter-American Court of Rights so that protection and reparation measures could be taken in the country.
The Inter-American Court accepted my request, and when the sentence was issued in October 2021, it said that an assistance fund had to be created, and I still saw it as a long way off, because to create a fund in Colombia, law is needed. So we had to draft a bill, we had to come to Congress to lobby for it, I personally came to lobby with the Congress, with the Senate, and I have to say that the full Congress voted unanimously. And today, September 9th, when it is not the time to be silent, we officially received the law that creates a unique fund in the hemisphere to help women journalists.
With tears in her eyes but with a firm voice, Gineth Bedoya dedicated this day to women journalists and to all those who communicate with their voices, their hands, and their being. She spoke especially to all women communicators who are in territory, where they are exposed to violence, and left a strong message to encourage them that their voices should not be silenced.
These proposals and these funds are a door and a window that opens up possibilities to continue doing our work of journalism, of communication, with a little more guarantees. It is really very complex to do journalism in the territories. The issues we normally have to talk about involve a risk, and this can be an important support as long as it is implemented in a really effective way.
This personal struggle that step by step became a collective struggle, which started as a sentence and today is a law of the Republic, according to members of the national government, a step forward in the protection of human rights for journalists, not only in Colombia but also in Latin America.
Valeria Cardona, Telesur, Bogotá, Colombia.
In Argentina, Javier Milei's government dismissed the 230 workers of the Carem nuclear reactor plant. The move prompted the country's National Commission of Atomic Energy to stop one of the most transcendental domestic scientific projects and the first of its kind in the region. The dismissal triggered an immediate protest. Workers of the nuclear facility blocked the Panamericana Highway in Zarate, Buenos Aires province. Unions such as Luz y Fuerza and the State Workers Association, among others, joined the protest to support the October movement's complaint. Protesters stressed that this decision is part of the ideological attack on national science by Milei's government. Let's now take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. In Senegal, authorities reported 9 fatal victims out of at least 200 migrants on board a vessel that sank off the western Mbour coast. The National Navy informed that after the shipwreck, 3 passengers survived and were successfully rescued while the search for the rest of the crew members continues. According to official information, the final destination of the vessel was the Canary Islands in Spain. The first detailed that the boat was involved in cases of irregular migration. In Palestine, at least 40 Palestinians have been killed and 60 others wounded in an Israeli airstrike on a designated safe zone camp in Han Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip. According to the enclave's authorities, the camp is located in Al-Mawasi, where most of the strip's population is located due to numerous forced displacements. Residents and doctors have said that at least 4 missiles hit the area, setting several tents on fire. For its part, the Israeli army has claimed that the bombing targeted a Hamas command center in the area, while Hamas issued a statement denying that there were fighters in the area.
A number of children and women were recovered from this house, and the Israeli occupation forces are still committing massacres against our Palestinian people. In every attack, children, women, and the elderly are rescued, and the occupation forces deliberately target homes and shelters. A house full of civilians and children, and the Jews bombed them without any prior warning. And until now, we do not know why they bombed them. And no one was left. They were all martyred.
And in Brazil, smoke from intense wildfires in the Amazon rainforest is significantly impacting major cities, including Sao Paulo, and is spreading into neighboring countries. In August 2024, there were more than 28,000 fires reported in the Amazon, which is 38% higher than the 10-year average. This surge in wildfires has resulted in over 50,000 fires for the year up to August 27th, making the highest level since 2010. The smoke from these wildfires has caused air quality issues in urban centers, particularly in Brasilia and Sao Paulo, where toxic particles have been reported. The situation poses health risks to residents and could also impact agricultural production, particularly in sugarcane fields. And the European Union's Earth observation program Copernicus reported the warmest August on record worldwide. Experts point out that the average global temperature over the past 12 months is the highest on record for any 12-month period, 0.76 degrees Celsius above average. The program explained that 2024 could become the hottest year on record. They added that the high temperatures brought about devastating consequences for all life on the planet. And This Tuesday, the 8th day of the South American qualifiers for the 2026 World Cup, where Venezuela will face Uruguay, which arrives with many missing players.
The Venezuelan team will receive the Uruguayan team at the Monumental Stadium in Maturin, which arrives with 10 absentees for this game, including Federico Valverde, Naitan Nández, Georgian de Arrascaeta, Nicolás de la Cruz, and Matías Piña. All of them for accumulation of yellow cards. And Darwin Núñez, Rodrigo Betancourt, Ronald Araujo, José María Jiménez, and Matías Olivera, suspended due to the incidents in the semi-final of the Copa America. This forces Venezuela to look for the victory and take the lead in the match, after losing in their match on day 7, 4-0 against Bolivia. The Uruguayan team is in second place in the standings with 14 points, while Venezuela is in 5th place with 9 points.
Mientras que Venezuela es quinta con 9 puntos.
And in another match of the day, Colombia will host the world champion team Argentina at the Roberto Meléndez Stadium in Barranquilla. The Colombian team arrives at this match after a draw against Peru in Lima, a result that left them in 3rd place. On the other hand, Argentina defeated Chile 3-0 at home, and is looking to continue with its good game and its almost perfect score, 18 points of possible 21. In the history between the two teams, the Argentinians have the advantage with 21 wins, 9 losses, and 11 draws. They will meet for the first time since the final of the America's Cup 2024, where Argentina was crowned champion after beating the Colombians in extra time, with 1 goal by Lautaro Martinez, which adds a special spice to this match.
Lo que le agrega un condimento especial a este partido.
We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. The Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, announced that he is seeking to establish an age limit for the use of social medias in the country. In this regard, Albanese informed that the new law aims to keep children away from digital platforms, although the minimum age has to be decided. The Prime Minister explained that keeping children away from mobile devices would allow them to have real experiences with real people. The decision comes amid concerns about the effects of cyberbullying on children. This way, the measure aligns with moves by other countries around the Asia-Pacific region that share the worry about the negative impact of social media use, especially in young people's mental health.
Well, we're listening to parents and listening to the community, and I want to see kids off their devices and onto the footy fields and the swimming pools and the tennis courts. We want them to have real experiences with real people, because we know that social media is causing social harm.
In the news, in Russia, young computer experts from around the world gather in Moscow to discuss cybersecurity issues. Our correspondent Oleg Jasinski brings us this story.
Russia invited young computer experts from 20 countries to discuss challenges and new projects in global cybersecurity.
Now we are at the Positive Hack Camp, an event with the aim of preparing new young experts in digital security in order to minimize digital risks for all of us in the future. "70 people from 20 countries came to Moscow to learn about cybersecurity firsthand from Positive Technologies and our partners in this project supported by the Ministry of Digital Development of Russia."
Supported by the Russian company Positive Technologies, some 70 students shared for 2 weeks their experiences in the study of hacking cases of companies and state institutions in their countries, with the aim of promoting the development of a more reliable and secure network.
I have good expectation for this program, and it meet my expectation because I had a very good time here. I meet some new people, I learned some new stuff that will help me in my career, in my studies in the future, I also made some connections with people from different cultures, different countries, and it was an awesome experience.
According to organizers, the event, called Positive Hack Camp, was attended by representatives from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Oman, Bahrain, and Palestine, countries in the Middle East where Russia ensures stability.
Okay, for example, I teach in universities, and I believe that what I have learned from here, I am going to share it to my students and companies. So that's how I will help them build the system, secure the system, and definitely also transmit the knowledge, because that's the most important thing. I need to transmit the knowledge to my people.
So my country knows how technology is going to excel in the future, so they really support people who want to go into cybersecurity. But when talking to people here from all over the world, I noticed that not everyone has that support.
In addition to the training sessions, the participants enjoyed guided tours of the city and other activities to familiarize themselves with the culture and history of Russia.
teleSUR, Moscú.
And in Nicaragua, citizens commemorate National Hupil Day, a day designed to highlight and celebrate the country's rich cultural and artisan heritage. The hupil, a traditional garment with deep roots and indigenous culture, is a symbol of identity and pride for many Nicaraguan communities. Let's see more details in the following report by our correspondent, Kenya Doña.
In 2023, the government of Nicaragua declared the Nicaraguan huipil as intangible, artistic, and cultural heritage of the nation. September 8th is the day that it has been established to honor this celebration in Managua. In the capital Sovereignty Square, dozens of young people, children and adults, show off their huipil costumes, representative of each region of the country.
We celebrate for the second consecutive year the National Day of National Heritage, this September 8th. We are here in this Sovereignty Square with the dancers, who are curiously carrying this huipil, which really exemplifies the pride in our identity, popular art, and those laborious hands that are in our beautiful Nicaragua.
This is passed down from generation to generation and is the most important aspect to preserve the culture and identity that we have as Nicaraguans.
The huipiles, with their unique and colorful designs, reflect the cultural diversity of Nicaragua and the deep respect for the traditions that have been passed down through generations.
The importance of this is that young people are empowered to take pride in their utilitarian identity, such as the huipil. They show it with pride and joy. The huipil is a garment that gives us identity.
El huipil es una prenda que nos da identidad.
The celebration not only seeks to preserve the art of huipil making, but also to motivate new generation of designers about the importance of this textile legacy.
On each catwalk, students and designers of the Creative School of Nicaragua designs presented today huipils adapted to normal life, to daily life, that we can use and be proud of.
I was very excited for us as students of the Creative School. At the beginning, I said that it will be a long time before I could present a design, and today I see that after a few months I can present something, and it is very valuable for me.
Through different institutions, the government of Nicaragua has developed several activities, among them huipil parades and dances in the country's educational centers, in order to promote their traditions that defines the country's identity. Kenya Doña, teleSUR, Nicaragua.
Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website, telesurenglish.net. So join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.